Before we begin styling some of the other type elements, let's go ahead and we talked about the font family and just a default font. Let's go ahead and add a Google font just to have something that's a bit more, a font that's a bit more interesting. So you can just open up a new browser tab and type in fonts.google.com. And we'll go to the Google Fonts page. And you can do a search for if you know the name. You could also type something here, if you will, and then when you'll see that information show up down below, or what you've typed in here. You could change the pixel size, and you can also do a search through different categories of type. I'm just going to leave what we have here now. And I'm just going to use Roboto because it's very common, it's pretty popular, and it's here right now. So basically, you can just do a search, or you can visually look through the different fonts. Okay, so we're going to use Roboto on our simple web page here. So all we need to do is click this little plus sign, and then open our panel. And what we're going to do first, let's just go to Customize. And what you can do is you can load different font weights. Now, regular is 400, as I mentioned previously. Bold is 700. And then you could do an ultra bold or a black. But just be aware that the more of these you check, the load time could potentially change and increase the load time. So I'm just going to go with book, which is 400 regular, and then bold 700. And if we go back to embed, our code has been updated here. So all we need to do is copy this link right here. So we're going to copy, and let's go back. And after our title, it's very common to add your links for Google Fonts. So we'll just paste in our link for our Google font, and then go ahead and save. And then let's go back to Google Fonts, and you'll see we have font family, and then Roboto, and then they have sans serif. So if I just grab Roboto here. Now, if you had not already added your whole font family, matter of fact, let's just do that. We'll comment out the other one. We'll get our entire font family, and then I'll go ahead and collapse this for now. We'll go back to our page, and then back to our code. And in H1, what I'll do is drop down a line, tab over, and we'll add our font family, Roboto. Now, note that Roboto is in the single quotes, and technically you probably should change these to the double quotes. And I think a single quote will often throw an error. The font will still work, but it'll throw a cautionary error. And the other is I'm going to get rid of this extra space because I tend not to add spaces after the colons in my declarations, after the property. So we have Roboto, and then we have, again, sans serif. So I'm just going to comment out, just so you know, we have this rule, we have this rule that are exactly the same. And the way the cascade would work is the second rule would take precedence over the first because it's read after, or parsed, if you will, after this first one. But I'm just going to go ahead and create a comment. A JavaScript comment is what we use in our CSS, and I'll comment out that first font family, and then we'll go ahead and save, and then let's go ahead and refresh. So let's just take kind of mental note here, visual note, if you will, of what this type looks like. And then when I refresh, let's see if that type changes, and it does. Okay, so we are now loading the Roboto font directly from Google Fonts.